Good morning, everyone. We have Dr. Bhalchand Chaudhary with us. He's the Honorable Principal of Sardar Patel Institute of Technology. He will share with us the thoughts on education. So we have started this platform called Thoughts on Education, where we invite the dignitaries from top colleges to share their thoughts on the present scenario and the future scenario in India. So, Chaudhary sir, I welcome you here on this platform. Thank you so much for joining in.
Most welcome. Thank you so much.
Sir, I will start with my first question now. So, you have held key position at different education institutes throughout your professional career. So, I would just like to know what keeps you connected with the education sector and how has your experience been so far?
Yeah, Priyanshu, it has been a story of 3 decades now. In 90s, I joined this profession, and I joined by choice. I was a university ranker and consistent university ranker, and by choice, I joined this profession. And the journey so far has been very satisfactory, joyful, and enriching. And I mean, you are always in contact with the new generation, young generation. Uh, that energy, that bubbling energy around you, keeps your thought processes keep you young, and I hope it continues for few more years.
Sir, will Yes, sir. Sir, I was saying like it was a great answer. So, you get to interact with the new generation, you get to teach them and you get to learn them as well. So, sir, my second question goes as you are the principal at SPIT. So, being the principal there, what are your roles and responsibility towards the students?
Okay. Uh, See, let me first explain you what is our administrative structure. We are a part of Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan, which is a big, great trust. It is a trust of national eminence, and it was founded by K.L. Munshi ji with the blessings of Mahatma Gandhi ji. And we have a campus, we have presence across the India. We are mainly in the schools. One of the campuses is at Andheri and known as Bhavan's campus, when we have four institutions, all four institutions of higher education: SP Jain Institute of Management and Research, Bhavan's College, then Sardar Patel College of Engineering, and Sardar Patel Institute of Technology. Every institution is administratively and functions separately, right, under the umbrella of Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan. And I'm very happy to share with you that the principal and every institute is empowered by the Bhavan head office, and principal is solely responsible for all administrative and academic matters of the institute. So I'm responsible for everything happening in my premises: administration, all academic matters, and everything. I mean, basically everything in the domain and in the related with the SPIT, I am responsible.
Right. Very well, sir. Very well. So, sir, as you have mentioned, or as we know that SPIT is one of the greatest college in Mumbai. So, what I feel is the curriculum of SPIT has to be the best in the industry. What I want to know from you is like, are there any extracurricular activities that you keep your students involved in so that they grow, their personality grows?
I would like to correct you a little.
Okay, sure,
Uh, Priyanshu, we suppose we are just not restricted to Mumbai. We are top layer institution of the Maharashtra,
sir. Right.
and
Apologies for that, sir.
I'm so happy to share with you that if you go through our curriculum, uh, it's second to none, and we have very distinct own thought process, and on based on that we have articulated wonderful curriculum which aims at holistic development of the learner, right? And we have enough. We know that education happens everywhere. It's just not classrooms and hostels. It happens in society while moving on locals and metros. It happens in at your residences, at hostels. It happens at all curricular, co-curricular activities on the stage, while dancing, while playing. I mean, education is a continuous process. It just we are locked it in under the classrooms and labs, but I don't believe that. I'm an electrical engineer. I feel I have a 360 degrees view. Electrical people love three-phase system. Three-phase system. One of the phase is classroom teaching and laboratory. I mean, that is formal education. Other phase is education which is happening in through these extra and co-curricular activities. And third phase, education happening in society, during travels, in so interacting different members of the society. And that's why we have given some importance to the humanities courses, liberal art courses. In my college, you student earn academic credit by 5 kilometers run, or by skipping on the rope, or doing swimming, or doing trekking, or doing photography. You name a domain, we had tried to include that in our colorful baskets of several courses. We call those as liberal learning courses. And every student has to take one such mini course every semester. We are teaching finance, we are teaching management, we are teaching foreign language, and we are the only college in the country who is giving even importance to the vernacular languages. If your mother tongue is Marathi, we say learn Malayalam and earn credit, right? Because learners have to be at least, I mean, when we say globally competitive, Maharashtrian should survive in Madras, right? or Kerala, Trivandrum, right? So that's why we have included these languages, and we know that we are the first engineering institution in the country which is giving equal importance to the vernacular languages as well. So we if you look at our curriculum, it's quite colorful.
Great, sir. So you have talked about the extracurricular activities and your curriculum as well. So this was really great that you teach your students different languages, and then there is no other courses that you or other activities that you push from your side. And sir, I would just like to understand, how do you try to bring in practical approach towards subjects and make it industry oriented?
Yeah, that is very challenging topic when you say the engineering curriculum, because technology is growing fast.
Exactly.
And schooling output, the output or the value, the education which a learner has till 12th standard hasn't changed much. If you look at what was the know-how of 12th pass out in 1990s, and now what is to pass out that know-how today, it has changed, but not significantly. But the technology and expectations of industry have changed a lot in 30 years. So I would say the start remained the same, but the bandwidth of engineering has increased significantly, and that's why there is always a question and worry about how we cope up with this. and how we make industry ready professional. But we have given a long thought, deliberated on this, and discussed this among all stakeholders. And we have a philosophy. We don't bother much about their bandwidth and all, because we know that anyone whose fundamentals are strong will survive anywhere, right? And needs of industries keep changing. So we don't claim that we are making very suitable engineers for some industry A or B, because we feel undergraduate education is building an ability, embedding the abilities and endurance. And just like before playing some game, you need to be physically fit, strong. Your stamina must be excellent. Similarly, in that view, we say you may choose any line, any profession, any vertical, any specialization, and those will keep changing. But to be successful, your health, your physical health, I mean, your foundation has to be very strong. So we focus on foundation, right? Because we believe that anyone whose foundations are strong will survive in any domain and with changing times.
Exactly, sir. That's really great, and that's really true that the foundation has to be strong of anyone. So, sir, I would just like to understand, apart from your curriculum, what are the intervention and what are the approaches that you bring in to train or teach the students?
Yeah, we try to blend our education through industry expertise. We have a scheme of industry co-teaching. Every course teacher is given freedom to invite some industrial expert to take at least 10 to 15% of that course, so that some flavors of real life can be given to that course. Similarly, we have few courses whose curriculum is designed by industry and they are delivered by the industry, right? Third thing, we also have minor programs and uh, minor programs, minor certificate program, wherein the students take 4 courses in 4 distinct semesters. These programs are in some specialized domains, and at SPIT, couple of industries have designed a sequel of these 4 courses, and those industries are offering those 4 courses for the interested students. So industry association is everywhere. In the like any other institution, it is in the form of their representatives on our board of studies, academic councils, where they join discussions, deliberations, and give their suggestions, give their perspective about education, and give their expectation about expectation from the institute and from the budding engineers. We have co-teaching taking place. We invite them as examiners and request them to participate in our evaluation. We have industrial internships where students go and work with them for 6 months. And not only that, we have courses which, as I said, industry design courses, and they are offered by the industry. And on the top of that, we have this sequel of 4 courses. We call it micro specialization programs or minor programs, which is designed by industry and offered by industry. So I think it's quite we work quite closely with the industry, and that is perhaps the reason why when it comes to placement, we are second to none in Maharashtra.
That's really great, sir. Sir, so you have told us various things about SPIT. I would still like to know from you, what is that one thing that that the institute has and the student may not know about it. So what is that one hidden gem about SPIT that that the student may not know, or the outer world may not know about it currently?
The one word.
Not just one word. Let's say you can complete it in a sentence as well. What is that one special thing about SPI?
It's the culture and empowerment. We believe that institutes are for students, and students are at the top in articulating all policies and all, and they are given freedom to nurture themselves, and we are flexible, right? We believe that empowerment of students and faculty is only the way to excel.
That's really great, sir. Sir, so we have talked about SPIT strength. We have talked about how well SPIT prepare their students for placements or to be future ready. What I would like to understand now from you is, what are some of the biggest challenges that you see both for higher education and for your institute?
Yeah. See, Priyanshu, if you see, the nature of jobs are dramatically changing. If you compare the last few decades and say post 2010 or post 2000 or post 2010, I mean, we my generation survived with one type of job. Perhaps these students present today, those who sit in front of us, I always say they are 21st century born kids, right? They have different abilities and different challenges. They will serve long. My teachers served 30 years. I'm going to serve 40 years. These kids will serve 56, 55 years. Longevity of life is increasing. And they will have 3-4 distinct careers in their lives. The way in which technology is moving, right? And so far, the education believed on and given more importance on what? I mean everywhere, whether it is our teaching, whether it's teaching, learning, and evaluation processes were centered around what? Information. I remember why we used to go in classes and colleges. Perhaps it was for gaining some information. We had a concept of education means if you know some information, it is education. We felt it is knowledge, but information is not knowledge now, right? And we need to innovate. We dramatically things are changing. We observed the divergence of engineering, and today we are talking about convergence of engineering, right? Interdisciplinary and all. The technology has taken exponential pace, and on this in this background, I think learning to learn will be the mantra for success. So students should focus on how to learn than what to learn, right? And we always try. We have given our instructions. We discuss with our teachers, and we are trying to shift from traditional learning to the environment where students become more self-learner. They learn to learn, because that is the only way I am sure people will survive in this dramatically changing 21st century.
Sir, I really like the part when you mentioned that the information is not learning these days. A student must know how to use that information in their day-to-day life, and that's a really great advice. But sir, I would just really like to ask you if you can give any suggestions to the current youth or the aspiring students.
Yeah, my suggestion is don't bother. I mean, though the technology is fastly changing, it's just not. When I was student, it was D by dt. I always say things were changing. Change is constant. Word keeps changing, right? But now the rate of change is also changing. So it is just not D by dt. It is dn by dtn. And n has gone about 2-3, right? So it is truly exponential changing. But Today learner should not bother about that. I will just say, develop ability, the self-learning ability, and just be passionate. Whatever you do, I don't say do this engineering or that engineering, or whether you go for MBA or do not go for MBA. Whatever you pursue in your life, you may work in business, you may do engineering, you may go in finance and banking, you may learn something liberal arts, law, whatever, just whatever you have chosen, be passionate. If you have chosen a game of badminton, love badminton. If you have taken cricket bat in hand, make Tendulkar as your god and just, you focus only on cricket. What happens with hockey stick in hand? People are looking at table tennis or badminton games, and that there our society. There the challenges begin. Whatever people do not have passion about the job in hand, and that is the go to the teacher, go to the academics. People are not much excited about to be a faculty, right? Go to the public servant, he's not much excited he is doing a public service, right? He feels some industry person is better place. Go to the industry people. Everybody feels the grass is greener on the other side, and he is facing the challenges and all. And I think that feeling comes because of lack of passion. Passionate people. I don't think ever Tendulkar or any sportsman would regret why he has chosen that a particular game. People, if you go in this music, arts, liberal arts, and all, people pursue their hobbies passionately, their interests passionately, come what may.
Right, sir. That's actually a really great advice that you have given to us, because you have said that if you have chosen something, make the best out of it. So that's the wonderful advice that anyone can get, sir. With this note, I would like to conclude this interview, sir. This was really an informative session, and I personally got to learn so much from this. Thank you so much for joining in. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts.
Thank you, Priyanshu. Thank you.